that did everything you could want in a sequel to a game like Human Revolution. More emergent gameplay, more augments on top of all the ones you had before, more side quests with stories just as memorable as the main game stories, a great hub world to explore, an interesting plot that was building towards a big cataclysm that would happen in the next part of the game that would lead us to the end of Jensen's story and the beginning of Denton's, which unfortunately, everything else about the game outside of the game was a disaster. This game was ordered to be split into 2 parts because money, and the marketing campaign was possibly one of the most embarrassing that a AAA could have, barring being an EA title at the turn of the century. Poor choices were made. People were never consulted on whether certain themes would be tasteful, and the term augment your pre-order became a calling card of the fever pitch that pre-order culture had reached. The game itself was awesome, but everything surrounding it, Deus Ex Mankind Divided just couldn't possibly reach the already absurd sales expectations that Square Enix expected it to have, and the final part of the Jensen trilogy was put on hold indefinitely, and as we know from my last video, I personally believe that it's probably not going to happen at this point. According to the brass of Square Enix, the finale of the Jensen trilogy is quote-unquote waiting its turn for like the last 5 or 6 years. And so, as of this video, it has been just over 5 years since Human Revolution's sequel launched, and we still haven't even had so much of an announcement for the final game and when it's going to come out, if it's going to come out at all. And, oh wait, I already said that in the previous thing because I ad-libbed, so I'm basically no longer holding my breath because Square Enix seems to be far more interested in making licensed Marvel games than it does actually making games for the series that are not Final Fantasy. And in a spate of overly risk-averse actions, Square Enix pumped out a terrible...
That was maybe a